Right now on Upfront.
Budget battle.
What is dead on arrival?
We're not going to get $1 billion to the university. That's probably not going to happen.
Republicans already drawing red lines ahead of a major state budget fight beginning in January, and that includes the high-profile debate surrounding the universities of Wisconsin.
People's trust in higher education has declined. That's just reality.
Now, System President Jay Rothman is here exclusively to respond. Plus, the new final assessment unveiled exclusively right here.
Then, legal loophole.
You're not supposed to be driving. You're revoked. You don't even have a license.
Our investigation into unlicensed drivers facing no charges and continuing to drive. Now lawmakers taking notice.
This doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't.
And house hunters.
As you sit around the Thanksgiving table, what is the biggest question you're going to receive?
The new number is showing the state of the housing market in Wisconsin, a new president, a new Congress, and the impact. The president of the Wisconsin Realtors Association is with us just moments away.
This is Upfront with Jaron Jordan and political director Matt Smith.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Hope you're having a great Thanksgiving holiday. Already this weekend, warning signs from top Republicans ahead of a big budget battle looming in Madison. It was just last weekend, right here, that Assembly Speaker Robin Vos said the Universities of Wisconsin budget request is essentially dead on arrival.
Tomorrow, the administration will release the final piece of a system-wide third-party financial review. Already, the reports have raised serious questions about the financial stability on numerous UW campuses. The new report tomorrow will focus on the UW administration itself. And ahead of the public release, Universities of Wisconsin President Jay Rothman is here to discuss some of those findings and the budget process. Jay, like always, it's good to see you. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you. It's great to be with you today.
We'll walk through some of these actions that you're planning to take in relation to what's going to be released on Monday. But I'm first just curious, broadly characterize for me, what were some of the biggest warning signs or red flags that this review found for the administration?
Well, I think it's what we discovered when I started, that our universities, a number of them, 10 of them to be exact, were spending more money than they were bringing in. And that's been a trend that had been going on for some time. It was impacted by the level of state funding and a decade-long tuition freeze. So we knew we had to address that. We brought in an outside party to do some assessment and give us a sense of what their recommendations were, and we're in the process of implementing those recommendations. And I'm pleased to report that our universities are working out of their structural deficits. We're making great progress to long-term sustainability for the universities of Wisconsin.
On Monday, you're going to announce a number of steps that you're taking, including what you say is, quote, a more active role in supporting enrollment, management, and forecasting. Can you explain what that is and why that's important?
Well, it's a couple things. You know, we're really pleased. We've had 2 years of increased enrollment in the universities of Wisconsin. So 2 consecutive years that our enrollments have actually been going up, which has been really good to see. We want to get more active. Part of it is on forecasting, helping the universities do the data analytics to predict where their enrollments are likely to be, but it's also helping them. Helping up with new initiatives. Direct admission is one of those new initiatives that we introduced. 10 of the 13 universities are doing it right now, which really allows students, without having to apply, to be advised that they are admitted to whatever universities they have actually been admitted to based on their grade point averages after the end of their junior year.
You say you also want to enhance financial accountability standards, including formal mid-year financial reviews at the universities across the board. Some may look at that and say, well, isn't this already happening, or shouldn't this already be happening? You know,
we've been doing continuous improvement in our financial reporting. One of the things we're going to do with which I saw in the private sector is, you know, we'll be about halfway through our academic year when we meet with the board meets next week, and we'll be talking to them about revised forecasts about where our universities now see themselves standing vis-a-vis against their budget. We've got some ups and we've got some downs, but it's really just to provide that additional clarity to the Board of Regents as they oversee the financial accountability of our universities.
Some universities maybe were not doing that as well as they should have been in the past.
I don't think it's not a question of not doing it as well. I think it's just a question of that we are continually improving the transparency and the real-time information that we can provide our Board of Regents.
As you know, this all comes on the backdrop of budget negotiations beginning at the start of the year. The system is asking for an additional $855 million. Speaker Vos was on the show last week. He essentially said that initial request is not going to happen. I want to play a few of his comments for you. Take a listen.
Well, first of all, $850 million is not to offset a tuition hike. I mean, a small percentage of that could be. So we certainly can talk about that. But again, we have a lot of things. If you remember, we cut the deal last year where we said we were going to restrict DEI, we were going to have people hired, we were going to try to put a freeze on the overhead and the administrative bloat that we've seen over the course of the last decade. I want to wait till the end of the year and see if we kept the deal. So that would be the first thing that we have to say is if you can't keep the deal, well, it's awfully hard to make a new one. So I'm optimistic. Hopefully they will, and that'll give us a chance in January to sit down and talk about it.
Do you have a number? What's your cap on UW funding?
I don't know yet. I mean, we have to kind of wait and see the entire budget together, but I just know that some of these numbers where they kind of ask for the moon are unrealistic, and they have to know that too.
Asking for the moon and unrealistic, do you see it that way?
You know, I look at it from this perspective. Right now, the universities of Wisconsin are 43rd out of 50 states in the nation in terms of the public support for our universities. The $855 million gets us up to average. That, to me, in the context of a long period of time where the universities have not been invested in, is a reasonable ask. It would allow us to keep tuition at its current level. It would allow us to keep the branch campuses that are remaining open to remain open long term. That's a reasonable ask.
You also heard Speaker Voltaire talk about DEI and the agreement made with lawmakers just last year. Has UW kept its side of that deal?
We have. We are going through a process. Some of those commitments were over 2-year periods, but we signed that agreement and we intend to comply with it. Full stop.
You heard Voltaire say that he hopes that the university is going to realize that they live in a world where the kind of set-asides that were done are old news and hopefully won't be brought back. Do you agree with that?
I mean, I think, again, I come back to 43rd out of 50. That's really do we really want that from a policy perspective? Is that where we want our universities to be? And I think I look forward to having conversations with legislators on both sides of the aisle and making the case as to why increasing the funding for the universities of Wisconsin is an investment in future generations in our state.
So Vol says DEI is dead, but will you continue to push for funding for those types of initiatives and the push for equity and inclusion at the universities?
You know, we look at it, and I look at diversity with a very wide lens. Yes, it's ethnic background, it's racial background, but it's also veteran status, it's political ideology, it's religion, it's disabled students. You know, all of our students come to us as individuals, not as groups. And we want to make sure that each one of those students has the opportunity to be successful in our university. So that's what we want to focus on. That's where our diversity efforts are focused on, dealing with an individual by individual to make sure that student can be successful.
Jay, you said the other day that people's trust in higher education has declined, and that's just the reality. There's a perception out there by some that universities like Madison, for example, are filled with liberal professors pushing liberal ideologies and free speech for conservatives is stifled. Is that a reality on campuses?
You know, I don't think so. You talk about free speech. We did a free speech survey shortly after I started, and it indicated that I think students do have a lot of free speech. They said, did professors give them wide ranges of perspectives in their classes? The vast majority of students said that they did get those perspectives. The challenge has been it's really, why don't they raise their hand and articulate their views? The single biggest reason for doing that is peer pressure, that they don't want to upset their friends. They don't want to get into that aspect. And I think we're living in a polarized society. We are a microcosm of that polarized society. What we need to do and what we're focused on is promoting civil dialogue, to be able to discuss those difficult, hot-button issues in a way that's reasonable and rational, where the worst outcome is that you walk away to agree to disagree, but you do it with mutual respect.
A ton of important conversations in the weeks and months ahead. Universities of Wisconsin President Jay Rothman. Jay, like always, thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me today.
Coming up, the legal loophole, our investigation into unlicensed drivers facing no charges and continuing to drive. Now Wisconsin lawmakers are responding. Next.